Hey, hello, good morning, guys, and this is Coding with Gautam. And guys, today we will be doing lesson 5 Libraries Explore. So, basically, we're going to be doing libraries in Unit 7. So, we're going to be talking about libraries explore, libraries investigate, libraries practice, project make a library, project make a library, project make a library. The project's going to be a different video. We're just going to talk about lesson 5, 6, and 7 today. So, let us dive in. So, evaluate the following if the function is a good candidate to be placed in the library. Why or why not? So, just before we start, let's just clearly understand what a library is. A library is basically a set of functions and sets of code that can be accessed through various interfaces. For example, the add function in a calculator library, instead of coding it yourself, you can just say add 4 plus 5. Same thing here. So, function updates score player points if the player equals to player 1, player 1 points equals player 1 points. We can easily stop right here. You can clearly understand that if we were to export this function only with no other context to another device, it would say, first of all, there's nothing as player 1 points. Two, there's nothing as player 2 points. So this means it's not a good candidate to be placed in the library because there are some variables that are not defined. Then let's go on to the states app. So run this program and read the code. Try several different inputs. Discuss the questions with a partner. And yes, let's just do that. So let's run Texas. Let's see, Texas. Pretty good. Let's go to Oklahoma. Looks good. Utah. You can see that. New Jersey. New York. Florida. North Dakota. Let's try one with spaces. North Dakota. Pretty good. So yeah, Cali. Let's try. If not found. So we're gonna have to type the full name. Let's try some different capitalization. Okay. So it's looking good. So now let's talk. Okay. So click manage libraries in the gear menu. So let's go manage libraries. So okay. This is the library we're using right now. This is the state library. So it basically has a sets of functions that we can use in our code. So here we have the state abbreviation function, which basically uses the data of the United States, of the US states, and it basically gets the code name and next then makes it to lowercase, and then it returns the state abbreviation. Um, then the state skyline, basically, it has the skyline background. State seal basically gets the state seal. State flag loops through this data set, gets it, and next then makes sure it matches. And yeah, random state, just generate a random state. So now that we understand this code, let's go here. So here we have the variable state, which is empty. So then on event, we click the click button. It will get the input, state input, and then it will set text, the state output, to whatever we typed in, this dash, and then the state library. Look, we're calling the library here. Then we call the function from the library. So state library dot state abbreviation from the state. So then we can do that here. Set image URL skyline image from where we use the state library. We go to the state library and then we access the skyline function. So basically it runs this. It basically inputs the state that we were talking about. So the state name, make sure it's all lowercase. And next then if it finds the state in the data set and returns the respective skyline image, then it takes that skyline image and puts it right here. Then we have the flag image, exact same thing, and then after it's run, it empties the input. This is basically how libraries are used. Let's continue. Then let's go on to the type in a sentence. The Pigify engine will convert it into Pig Latin. So let's see. And it says say subscribe say. Then let's talk just say APCSPA is a Udgelaske. You can see that it is basically just reshuffling it. Let's see what it does. We can see that it just adds a at the end of each word, takes the first letter and puts it in front of at the last, and then adds a. So basically we can do word, it will say the ord way. So yeah, so now we understand basically what it's doing. Let's go to the code. When the pickify function is clicked, call the update screen function, basically that, and reset the screen and call to the pickify function passing through user inputs. So we update the screen. Basically, we make sure that we keep updating the text and that make sure the statement is updated. Uses a set of rules to convert the user input to Pig Latin. Makes calls of the strings library to manage user input. So it's using the strings library. Let's just look at the library real quick. So you can see that first letter, it returns the substring, basically the first letter. All but first, it indexes using each letter, then it says substring. So basically instead of the first, everything until the end. Looks for a vowel in the string, basically has a vowel string, loops through, basically sets every letter to lowercase, loops through every single letter and makes sure if it's equal to A, E, I, O, U. If it's not, it's false. Split string by space. So basically temp word. So when given the string, it splits it by a split string by space. So then we give it the string, we give it the temp list and temporary word, then it string I is empty, then it appends item temp list temp word. So basically it it splits the string into a list of words by the increment we give it. So now let's look at what we're doing. So list equals strings library, call it, and next we use the function split string by space. Then we have the new list. So we make sure that we get all first letter, and then that's the first letter, and then rest is all but first. Then we get the temporary. Then we basically take the first letter, put it at the end, and then add a. Then basically the rest plus first plus a, append item, and next and it joins to a new string. So this is just some debugging, so let me just take that out. Okay, so reset run. Let's just try a word now. Program. So you can see that it takes the p, throws it at the end, so it becomes rogramp, and then it adds a, so rogramp pay. Let's do discuss day. You can see that. So this is just a simple function again, doing to strings. We are finished. So yep, check for understanding. So now, why is it important to use meaningful names for functions in your library? So you know what the function is doing. You can see that and the functions that we were given, it's very simple, like get skyline, get flag. If you were to put some random name like do stuff, the person has to actually read through the code, understand what it's doing, and then it will become weird when someone else is looking at the code, because they're going to be like, what does do stuff do? So you know what the function is doing. It makes it easier for documentation, and it's easier for others to edit and understand your code. Because if they need a change to your library, they're like, I want the flag from the state above it instead of the state below, then instead of the state itself, then he can go to the function and then change it up. So it's easier to edit when the function is clearly named flag instead of do stuff. So now let's go on to the libraries practice, lesson 7. So this program uses the states library from the previous lesson. You will need to finish the app by writing the new state function. So pick a random state, set value of current state to that state name, update the flag. So the current state, then we run the function new state. So on event, we click the new state button. It clicks function, and next then you get a new state. Then the guess button, basically we click the button, it gets the input, and then if the guess state is equal to the current state, then you say correct, or else you say no. So this is the function we had to build. Current state equals state library dot random state. If you recall, we just go to our libraries, and if you recall, we just go and we just basically get a random state from the US states data. Then we set the property of flag image using the state library again, basically get the state flag of the current state. So let's run this. Let's say I do not know what this flag is. Let's go South Dakota. Nope, that's not it. Let's get a new state. Yep, this is North Dakota, so let's try North Dakota. And you can see that it says not it. Well, let's try with capitalization. This is really picky, so then new state Washington. Correct. It literally says Montana. Correct. And yeah, so that's how it works. It's basically fine. And yep, that's lesson 1. Let's go to the next lesson. Okay, so this simple program should show a random cat and the name of the breed every time the user clicks a button. The library cats has been added to the program to help. Read the documentation for each function in the cats library. Use the provided functions to finish building the app. The user should see a random cat and the name of the breed every time they click on the button. So let's basically understand what library we're using here. Basically random breed, basically gets a random breed from the cat's name. Breed image, we go through breeds. Next time we get the column of the name, we get the column of the image, returns the image. Get all breeds, basically that. Random image gets a random image. So we set the breed to a random breed, then we get the property, we set the property of the cat image and the breed name to the image and text of the breed image breed. So basically we get the image from the breed and then the breed. So let's run. Javanese, color point, short hair. We can see that it's working pretty well. So yeah, that's it for this one. Let's go into the next one. So before exporting a library, it's a good idea to test functions with different values to make sure they export correctly. Debug the issues with the program using the test written for each one to check what's wrong with it. So let's click run. I may just start over so it's more simpler. Okay, so let's click run and see what's happening. Okay, so is 10 even true? Is 5 even false? Is -2 even true? Is 10 odd false? If 5 are true, is -5 are true? Is 10 between 0 and 5? No, that is not true. So we go down and we check this. Is between. So we have the number. So if the number is greater than low or it's less than high. Nope, it is not or, it should be and. So let's just fix that real quick. And reset run. So is 10 between 0 and 5? False. It's 10 between 5 and 10. False is 10 between 15 and 20. So you could do this either way. You could do this also because technically it's in. So yeah, false, true, false. And then yeah, that's basically the function. We can see that it's just basically modulos 2 if the remainder is 0. Or if it modulos 2 and the number is 1, or the modulo 2 and it's -1, so we're accounting for negative numbers. And yeah, so this is fairly simple. We just had to fix the or twin and, because we could give it 100 is between 2 and 5, but since 100 is greater than 2, it would return true in the original state. But after a bit editing, and basically it's your wish whether to make it greater than or equal to, but you had to change the or twin and. So the program is being prepared to export as a library. When the testing, the final function get letters, a number of issues came up. So let's debug it right here. Alright, so let's run. So all uppercase good, all lowercase good, consonants uppercase good, good, vowels uppercase, vowels lowercase. Let's check that out. So get letters, vowels false. So first let's see what we do. Return all lower, good, return all upper, return vowels lower, vowels upper, and return consonants lower, consonants upper. Okay, get letters. So letter type upper, if letter type equals all, if upper return all upper, else return all lower. Okay, else if is the letter type is consonants, if it's upper return consonants upper. So we can see that's a clear one right here. Fix that. Else if the letter type is vowels, return vowels lower, and they forgot the return statement here. Let's reset run. This should be working right now. All vowels, all uppercase, all lowercase. Okay. Vowels uppercase, vowels. Oh, yep, we had to redo that. Upper, and that's lower. And looks like it's good. Simple. All we just had to do is make sure that we just fix the function, just go to the logic. If it's upper, make sure it's returning upper. Make sure you don't forget returns, and all else logic is good. So make sure there's no errors when exporting your library. Then this program is designed first write the second two functions that pass the written test. So fill, the function fill length value, it basically fill a list of 6 values of, this was just debugging, KYS fill 6 KYS. So let's run this. First KYS, that's good. And fill a list with the values of with one of values of 8, 8, just 8. Fill 15 values with 90, does that very well. Yep, so return a copy of the list given with each value multiply by, we can see that we get the list and the number. So multiply 1 2 3 by 2, 2 4 6 5 10 20 30, you'll get 550 100 and 150. Same thing, so on. It's pretty good. Then let's go to the, go to that. You basically get the list, you basically loop through everything, multiply each value in the list by the number, and then return the new list. Then the reverse, basically you get, so you make sure that I is in the list length, and then while I is greater than 0, you actually, instead of incrementing up, you increment down. You start at the end of the list and keep going, and then you append it to the new list, and then you return the new list. So basically you start in the list 1 2 3, you start at the end, input this to the new list, input this to the new list, and input this, which creates a reverse function. So 1 2 3, we get 3 2 1, yes no maybe, we get maybe no yes. That's good. So the practice question, so the following produced was developed if a list is contains a negative number. If the list contains a negative number, it should return true, or else it has to return false. So procedure, check negative list. If it has a negative is true, you just set it true. For each number in list, if number is less than 0, you set it to true. Wrong. This is because even if this is false, you start with has negative equals true. You have to set has negative equals false. That's what we do in line 3. That is the correct answer. So we finished lesson 7. So this is it, guys. We will be doing the project tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Keep following if you want the series. Like the video. Thank you. This is Coding with Gautam, and have a good day.